श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे. Hey, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. So we start a very important literature in our parampara. Prabhupada said one must read Nectar of Devotion every single day of their life. Am I doing it? No. Do I want to do it? Yes. So maybe after this, we get inspired to do it every day. You can turn on your cameras, right, Rupa Mataji, if you can. Only Indra Dumnya Prabhu has his camera on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some slides, but I'm also going to go over the Kindle version of it. Okay. So I don't know if are we live?
Yes, Mataji, I just went live. You want me to go offline, Mataji?
No, I can go offline, right? I'm the
Yeah,
host.
you can go, Mataji. You can go offline.
So, yeah, so it is important for all of us to attend the classes because I'll be going offline a lot. And I don't want to go offline and then be vigilant that, oh, have to record now. Some of the resources I want to show, definitely Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion. If we understand or try to understand Nectar of Devotion in association of each other, then it is guaranteed that we will understand other literatures in a much deeper manner. Okay, because Nectar of Devotion is filled with benedictions from Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, from Srila Prabhupada. So our acharyas have given us like a lot of Nectar Devotion. Out of all the 4 books that we are doing in Bhakti Shastri, Bhagavad Gita, Isa Upanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is the only book which is the analysis. You know how Krishna book is the summary of 10th canto, is the only book which is a summary of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Prabhupada. Every book that we have read is like, yes, it is also Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada's translation, but this is Srila Prabhupada's heart. Okay, so don't try to not read and come because this will be a very, it's like we were supposed to get so much of fortune, but then we just missed it. Okay, so that will be our loss. Not just for passing an exam and getting Bhakti Shastri. What are you going to do after you get a degree? You're going to preach, right? So you're going to put it on your head and go around the world. Yeah, I'm Bhakti Shastri. What are you going to do? Okay, so some resources. One is definitely Nectar of Devotion by Srila Prabhupada. Another one, you don't need to have it, but they use it in Bhakti Shastri, is called Waves of Devotion by Dhanurdhar Swami. So, but I personally like this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Subodhini. I'm really liking it, which I'll show in a minute. So we'll do some slides, but we are going to do mostly from the Bhakti Rasamrita Subodhini and some from our own realization. We'll start with that. Do you recognize this room? Anybody recognizes this room in the painting? Yes? Nobody recognizes the room in the painting.
Mataji, this is the room in Vrindavan where Srila Prabhupada used to sit and write. I'm missing the name of that temple.
Help him. Which temple is it?
Where all the samadhis are there, and we go and do the parikrama also. And they say if you do the parikrama of this temple, it's like doing the parikrama of the Giriraj.
3 times. Radha Damodar temple. Hey, this is Radha Damodar temple. This is a historical landmark in our parampara. Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda. We understand what we're gonna do. So, preface summary. Did everyone read? Is there anybody here who has not read? Please be upfront so I know what I'm dealing with. Either write me in the chat if you're not able to talk, or unmute and tell me. Indra Prabhu, did you read?
Yes,
Today we'll do
Mataji.
preface, introduction, Preface introduction. You read. Okay. Linit Prabhu, did you read? Kirti Mataji, did you read? Read preface and intro. Who's that? Kirti. Okay. Ambika Mataji, Rupa Mataji, Shiva Srinivas Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Very nice. Ambika Mataji. Some more chats are coming. Yes, okay. And Vinit Prabhu. Yes, Mataji. Okay, thank you. So preface, the history, Shababa describes the history of Bhakti Samhita Sindhu. He explains the position of Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Dashamedha Yagya in Prayag for 10 days. And the Bhakti Samhita Sindhu is the analysis of that conversation, from what came out from that conversation with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For 10 continuous days, Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami on the essence of bhakti. So Rupa Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis and is explicitly connected to Krishna, right? And the history of nectar devotion, Prabhupada says we are Rupa Nugas. We are followers of Rupa Goswami in ISKCON. And it's parampara from Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami, and then coming like that in a channel for Srila Prabhupada. Purpose of nectar of devotion, this is an analysis by the teachers. This is not written in the preface per se. It is embedded. It is embedded everywhere, but it is not so strategically written in the preface. To make each one of us a Goswami, right? We all are expected to be to be the preachers of the cult of Mahaprabhu. To explain bhakti ras versus material rasa, we should be able to differentiate where we are, what we are doing. Practical hints to live in material world by devotional service. Stimulate original love in 5 different rasas. Signs of perfectly loving all living entities and nurturing devotional service of practicing devotees. Nurture devotional life of practicing devotees. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada was born in 1489 to Saraswati Brahmin family actually. But then he was, if you hear Prabhupada's series, Prabhupada has a very nice series on nectar of devotion at Rupa Goswami Prabhupada Samadhi in Radha temple in Vrindavan. Hear all the lectures, just do it. At the end of the class, remind me to show the source so I can show you and then you can just play. Whether you're cooking, cleaning, driving, there should be no excuse of not hearing Prabhupada. I think we should feel nauseous on a day when we don't hear Prabhupada. Should come to that level. Says I feel nauseous. Why? Because I didn't hear Prabhupada today. Okay, no, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami were brothers. They were actually born in the Saraswati Brahmin family, but then they were discarded. Prabhupada said, Hukka Pani Band. He says that in the class. In that time, if anybody leaves their particular caste, then their Hukka Pani Band. They cannot come back to that caste. They cannot get their children married. They cannot get jobs. They cannot associate with the people. So totally discarded because they took up the job of Chief Secretary Nawab Hussain Shah's rulership. But then he met Lord Chaitanya and Ramakeli, and then that was enough for him to incite and leave everything. And then he left everything. Prabhupada explains the whole deal. You must hear Prabhupada series, how Rupa Goswami left and how Sanatana Goswami left. And then I think it's December 30th or 31st, 1972 lecture. And how he explains that we think that Krishna consciousness means we are very moral, but here we are Rupa Nugas and they are bribing, they are lying, they're running away. So what is it? Spiritual, moral, what is it? So explains that we have to adopt everything to get to Krishna consciousness. And Rupa Goswami is called as Rasacharya. We don't hear from all the 4 kinds of paramparas anybody called as a Rasacharya. It is very exclusive to Brahmagaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Every Sampradaya will have its own exclusivity. Okay, our exclusivity is Rasacharya, somebody who has explained who is the Acharya or the teacher of the mellows. And his deity is Govindji. So when you go to Vrindavan, there is a way to enter the Vrindavan, right? When we go to Vrindavan, we first pay obeisances to um, what is that Lord Shiva's temple? I'm forgetting the name. Remind me, the Lord Shiva's temple where we go.
Gopeshwar.
Gopeshwar, yeah, so nice. So, and then we go to the Sambandha Gyan, the Prayojan Gyan and Abhideya, Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Gyan and Prayojan Gyan deities. Like we go, Sambandha Gyan deities, who? Who is Sambandha Gyan deity of Vrindavan? Okay, now we derailing how to enter Vrindavan. So, Madan Mohan. We go to Madan Mohan, then Abhideya Gyan and Prayojan Gyan. So Abhideya Gyan is, what are the three main deities of Vrindavan? Madan Mohan, Govindji and Gopinath. Right? So Gopinath and then Govindji. So Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada has given us a lot of literatures, and Upadeshamrita or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is one of his work. And Sri Prabhupada was residing in Radha, praying to Rupa Goswami to show us the path to pure devotional service. So we're really diving into a very difficult but very sweet zone of pure devotional service. This is a prayer to Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam. When will Shri Rupa Goswami, who established the mission to fulfill the heart desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? So Mahaprabhu taught Rupa Goswami the ultimate limit of truth about Lord Krishna, about devotional service, and about transcendental mellows. So the three tattvas, Krishna tattva, Bhakti tattva, and Rasa tattva. Okay, so these are the three tattvas that Rupa Goswami Prabhupada talks about. Krishna tattva, who is Krishna. Bhakti tattva, about truth about devotional service. Transcendental mellows is Rasa tattva. And by entering the heart of Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered him to ascertain properly the conclusions of all truth. He made him an experienced devotee whose decisions correctly agreed with the verdict of disciplic succession. Rupa Goswami was personally empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, can we be empowered by Rupa Goswami? Yes, depending on our inclination. Okay, what is the only cost that one has to pay to become Krishna conscious? What is the only cost? Doesn't matter what is your net worth. You can pay the cost. What is the price to become Krishna conscious?
Intense grief.
Yeah,
Tatra
so
lalya.
very nice. So tatra lolyam ekamulyam. Your lolya, intense greed, is the ekamulyam, is the only mulya or price to become Krishna conscious. Can you do that? One has to have a proper mood. You know, it is written in Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It is not so much about the ritual. It is talking about the initiation. It is not so much about the ritual of initiation. It is about the mood of the disciple at the time of initiation, which makes them empowered at the moment by the parampara. Okay, so it is not so much about reading this and then passing the exam and coming out as a Bhakti Shastri learned person. It's much about like what is your inner sense, what is your attraction? Why are you doing it? Why did you go off camera, Rupa Mataji? Her name resembles Rupa Goswami, right? So there are 4 divisions of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's a Bhakti Ras Amrita Sindhu. We will go over it. Bhakti is devotion. Rasa is mellow, Amrita is eternal or nectar, Sindhu is ocean. So this book is the ocean of the nectar filled with mellows of bhakti. Okay, so ocean, so as we are in the olden age, it is explained that when the sailors used to sail on the ocean, they used to have a map, and the map would used to have direction like northern, southern, eastern, western divisions. Okay, so like that, this book is called as Ocean or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So it has 4 divisions: Northern Division, Southern Division, Eastern Division, Western Division. For the sake of Bhakti Shastri, we are focused on Eastern Division, which makes the first 19 chapters of the book. Okay, now each division in the ocean is divided into different waves. Lahari, it's called Lahari. So each division. So Eastern Division has 4 Lahari or 4 waves. And each wave is like some first wave is Samanya Bhakti, second wave is Sadhana Bhakti, third wave is Bhava Bhakti, fourth wave is Prema Bhakti. So you know how each division will come, different waves will come. So first wave that comes in the Eastern Division is called as a Samanya Bhakti, general description of Bhakti. The second wave that follows the first wave is Sadhana Bhakti or Bhakti in practice and its type. And the third wave that follows is Bhava Bhakti or Bhakti in ecstasy. And then last is Prema Bhakti or love of God. How is it in different chapters? This is from your handbook. So Lahari, so Eastern Division, Purva Vibhag, first 19 chapters, 4 Laharis or 4 waves. First Lahari is Samanya Bhakti, which is a general description, which includes introduction and chapter 1. Sadhana Bhakti is practice practice of devotional service, or devotional service by practice, chapter 2 to 16. Majority of it is Sadhana Bhakti. So important. That means Sadhana Bhakti is so important. That's because Swami Prabhupada has spent so much time. Bhava Bhakti is a Bhakti in ecstasy, 17 to 18. And then Prema Bhakti is what ends, what is the end, which is pure love of God, which is explained in chapter 19. Rest of the book is about like from Prema Bhakti onwards, what are the different descriptions or details of it. Now, Prabhupada, this is a very like a pictographic summary of what is the difference between material rasa and bhakti ras. Rasa, Prabhupada explains, is a kind of, what does he say is a kind of? What is rasa? The closest
Mellow.
English word of rasa is a kind of
Mellow.
mellow or taste. Right? We are driven by some sort of a mellow or taste in our life in general. We are, without that, it will be dead. So if somebody says, I am not driven by any mellow, I am not driven by any kind of motivation, then they are driven by the motivation of not being motivated. You believe that? So it is impossible to refute what is written in the Shastras. We cannot just make it up in our mind and say, okay, the Shastras are wrong, my mind is right. Where does it stand? So what is the difference? Bhakti connotes devotional love, which implies service. Like Prabhupada, I have not read a second author. If you have read, I'm not saying I've read so many authors, but if you have read, you tell me. Who is Prabhupada, the only person who's translating bhakti as devotional service. In other places, I've read bhakti as devotion, but not devotional service. So which means that there is an activity involved in it, devotional service. So what is that? We are going to decode that. So devotional love implies service, which refers to activity intended to please the beloved. And then what is love? Okay, now Prabhupada explains in the introduction that love is like primary stage. In a primary stage, one loves their family, society, humanity. But it is basically a propensity without which one cannot live. And then it gets fulfilled when it is connected to Krishna. So, because when we love Krishna, we water the root and then it is one switch that brightens all. Bhakti rasa. Rasa, the closest word is juice or mellow. There's mundane rasa and then there's bhakti ras. Mundane ras is explained as chapala sukha. Chapala sukha is like if you have a candle and the candle is burning in a windy place, it can go off anytime. Now, this is how explained. So chapala sukha is unstable. This sukha or this happiness in the mundane level is unstable. It is not said it is unreal. It is unstable. Chapala sukha labgalabi. So oscillates, right? Bhoga Tyaga. Prabhupada explains a very big businessman when they do the work, but then they get tired with their work and they want to go and disappear and forget about their business for on the weekend and then come back to the same thing on the weekday. So oscillates Bhoga Tyaga. There is no like steadiness. That is why our life oscillates. In Krishna consciousness, Atma is explained as what? Atma is explained as non-changing, right? Permanent, non-changing. What is the word in Bhagavad Gita? I'm forgetting the word. I had it in my mind. Kutastha.
Yes.
The word is kutastha, right? Atma, it's stable. There is a sense of stability. Why? Because Atma is, the objective is only one, Krishna. But in Krishna, in mundane, it is bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga, because we are at the mental level. It is accepting something, rejecting something, minute to minute to minute to minute. And then we feel tired. You see, in Krishna consciousness, if somebody is really engaged in Krishna consciousness, they have this amazing energy. We can hear and listen to and look at Shri Prabhupada's life. Amazing energy. We don't understand where it is coming from, but it is coming from the Atma. But in material world, we are tired all the time. If I ask each one of us, really, how are you feeling? I'm sure most of us will say, I'm tired. I can rest a little more. Yeah. Why are we tired? Because it's Chapala Sukha and Bhoga Tyaga principle going on, because of fear. And it was explained, I was hearing, I'm going derailed, though I don't want to do it. But there is one factor which prohibits Atma from going to Krishna. There's just one factor, which is divided into 3 subdivisions. And that one factor that Jiva Goswami explained is duplicity. It's so amazing, huh? Our acharyas have given us everything, and we go, okay, let me study psychiatry, psychology, let me do this, let me do that, let me go talk to someone. Maybe you should talk to someone. But we don't talk to the acharyas, huh? We don't go and read Prabhupada books and associate where everything is there. Bhakti is always fresh and eternal. Every day we are chanting Hare Krishna. How many of us are like bored? Oh my God, another 16 rounds today. How many of us are like that? I'm asking, are you like that? It's like, I can't, I have to chant. I need to chant. I will love to chant. How many of us are like that? Prabhu.
When the rounds are not finished in the morning and in the night, I have to finish. I said, okay, I have to finish this. Then it's the problem. If you're not finished chanting in the morning, it's the whole day activity then.
Correct. Yes. But is this something that we look forward to doing? It's always at the back of our mind, or is it something which is burden? For example, paying taxes versus chanting Hare Krishna. Huh?
Now it's like we treat it like a life breath now.
Nice.
Okay.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Very nice. So Amrita means eternal, fresh. Prabhupada writes, we have managed to procure a few drops of sense pleasure, but there is an eternal ocean of nectar of devotion easily available to all. Always, by understanding nectar of devotion, we can dive deeply into that ocean. Sindhu means ocean of pleasure. See, this is not the only place where Krishna consciousness is referred to as Sindhu. What is that prayer? Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairva Chandrika Vitarnam, Vidyavadhu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Just keep on increasing. And if you read the analysis, it keeps on increasing as the ocean. It keeps on increasing, getting filled with the rivers. Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So over there we have like the 7 benedictions, right? So one of the benediction analogy is given of ocean. So bhakti is devotional service. Prabhupada translates bhakti to devotional service, not just devotion, devotional service. So we stand apart there in our parampara. Rasa is the force of pleasure that drives people to do service. Rasa or mellow is coming from the relationship. So bhakti ras is different, transcendental, eternal, and perfect. This is just a summary of the table I showed. Mundane ras is always shifting. We are insecure whether I'll be with whether does my teenage stuff, like does my friend like me? Is it that person my friend? They're backbiting me this, and then it goes on into even amongst devotees. That devotee is not so elevated. That devotee is very elevated. This devotee is doing this. So we are bringing mundane rasa even in bhakti rasa, but it's no endurance, and there's always a shift. Bhogatyaga dynamics. Bhakti ras is Amrit, deathless, permanent. Next body, there is, yes, under the category, under the supervision of a deva, for desire, karma, mercy, but mercy of Krishna continues. Okay, so bhakti ras is eternal, means it does not end with the end of the body. There's nothing, absolutely nothing which can actually change that for us. So the basic principle, Prabhupada writes this in the introduction, is that we have a general propensity to love someone, but the missing point, however, is way to repose our love so that everyone can become happy. Right? So it says, okay, there are people who say, oh, I don't love anyone. And well, then Prabhupada gives example in America, a old man is sitting alone in the house and has a dog. Why do you have a dog? Why do you have a pet? Because there's a propensity to love someone. Just don't know where to repose that love. And it is a big deal. I never knew that pets can be like, so dear to somebody before I came to this country. Or I think it's coming to India too, though, right? So I feel like to us in Krishna consciousness, it feels like, what? Like you have to love, then you can love so many other things. Why a dog of all the things? But anyway, but that's because the propensity is not reposed in a particular manner. Okay, the material problem will have a spiritual solution. The spiritual solution is that the propensity to love is not reposed in Krishna. So that missing point is Krishna, and Nectar Devotion teaches us how to stimulate our original love for Krishna and enjoy blissful life. So basically, this is like Bhagavad Gita is a love letter, right? This is how I see it. Because Krishna writes a love letter to each one of us. Bhagavad Gita is a love. What is the content of structure of a love letter? One is the lover is explaining the quality of the beloved. Krishna is explaining our qualities. Your soul is this, you belong to me. Then the lover is explaining their own qualities. I am this, I am that. And then they're giving a vision of how the lover and beloved's life will be so happy together. Krishna does that. You come to me, you don't go anywhere. There's fun every time. No death, no birth, no old age, no disease. You can laugh, Rupa Mataji, if you want to laugh. And then they lived happily ever after. So this is the end of a loving, right? So Bhagavad Gita is a love letter. And Nectar of Devotion teaches us how to love, right? This is I'm telling you, in today's world, All the major thing is like, am I liked by that person? Does that person like me? What should I do that I'm liked? So it's so much propensity, but we actually go to nectar devotion to figure out what should I do to be liked by Krishna. When Krishna tells what that can you like me because I am here. Nectar devotion tells us, can you be attracted to Krishna? So the role is reversed now. Okay, so it completes the whole dynamics. So this is who is this? Who is this? Arey yaar, it says there. This is Radha Madhav. You can see it and you still cannot see it, like amazing. Okay, so broadness of love, this is just a summary of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One can love their parent, family, society, community, country, nation, humanity, but it still remains unfulfilled. Still. Why? Because we don't know the Supreme Beloved, which is Krishna. Without Krishna, everything will remain imperfectly fulfilled, imperfect. Loving every living entity by loving Krishna is peace and harmony. Missing Krishna means missing oneself also. Self-realization and Krishna realization go hand in hand, like sunshine. And if you look at the sunshine, you know that sun is there. That is why there is a sunshine. So if you look at ourselves, and then we look at Krishna, it's the same thing. Okay, in introduction, the book, the different resources, this particular source, I'm saying the introduction has 3 aspects: Mangalacharan, contents, and definition of pure devotional service. But there is one more thing which I'll bring up the Subodhini. There's Mangalacharan, or invocation of the auspiciousness, and then Guru Vandana, which is prayer to the Guru. And then there is pure devotional service, and then there is Vibhag, or the contents, or how the book is divided into different things. So there are 4 things there. Or also there's actually one more thing: benediction to the reader. What is a benediction? Rupa Goswami gives benediction to the reader of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, so far what we have studied is the um, the sweetness of nectar of devotion. There are a lot of technicalities. If you read just nectar of devotion, then in the middle part of the chapters, it becomes like just like descriptions, like there are 64 qualities of your devotional service. And then there are certain chapters just given, but 5 are primary, then 10 are secondary. So that makes total 15 more important. It becomes very analytical, analytical, but then don't leave the zest. That is why it is important to spend time in the preface introduction of the book, that we know what we are going into. And then we studied that Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. What does it really mean? We heard a little bit about Rupa Goswami and where they came from and what is the exclusivity of our parampara. Any questions so far?
Mataji, can you again say the meaning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu?
You tell me. Bhakti, which means implies devotional service.
Yeah.
Like devotion, service, which implies love. Rasa is a kind of juice or mellow. And we can have a mundane rasa or bhakti rasa. And then we understood the differences. Amrita means it's eternal. It's always there. And bhakti rasa amrita sindhu, ocean of pleasure. You want me to go back to the slide? Is that what you want?
No, that's fine, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay, so Mangalacharan, I'm going to go to Kindle from here. Okay, Mangalacharan defines the objective of the book. And the objective of the book is Krishna. So the objective of the book, Krishna, is explained in one verse. Akhila Rasa Amrita Sindhu. So I will go to Kindle. Can I go offline? If somebody is willing to record, I can make them co-host. Or maybe we should just let it run. I think we can just let it run. Help me.
Let it run, Mataji.
Okay. So Eastern Division, this is the glands. Again, we studied this. First Lahari or wave is Samanya Bhakti, then second Lahari is Sadhana Bhakti, third is Bhav Bhakti, fourth is Prema Bhakti. Samanya Bhakti introduction in chapter 1 is that, in which there is Mangalacharan, then there is Vastu Nirdesh, which is the objective, and then Namaskar or obeisances, Ashirvad is what is the benediction given, and then the Grantha Vibhag or how the contents are divided. Okay, so that's where we're focusing. Samanya Bhakti, Mangalacharan establishes the Vastu Nirdesh or objective, and it also has the Namaskar, the Ashirvad, and the Grantha Vibhag. Now, different commentaries are explaining it in different manner, but this is basically the sum and substance. I did not show you this resource. You don't need to know it, but there is one more resource by Bhanu Maharaj, the 4-volume book of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I have it. This is commentaries from Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's difficult for me to read as well. And then ISKCON is coming out with a 4-volume book of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu too. I don't know if you heard about it, but they're also coming out with BBT is coming out with it. Okay, Vastu Nirdesh, Mangalacharya establishes the objective. What is the objective of reading this particular scripture? The objective is to understand Krishna. Which Krishna? Krishna in what form? Krishna, the reservoir of all the rasas, all the mellows. So the verse is Akhila Rasa Amrita Murti. Lord Krishna, which Krishna in Vrindavan is the reservoir of all the rasas. Prash Amra Ruchi, by the diffusion of his beauty, Rudha Taraka Pali. He controls gopis, Taraka and Palika, have a lesser structure among the chief gopis. Kalita Shama Lalito. We accept Shamala and Lalita, chief gopis of medium status, as equal. We'll understand what it means. Radha Prayan. He gives pleasure to Radha, supreme among gopis by his excellent qualities. Vidhur. He is a destroyer of all sin, bestower of all bliss, the very form of highest bliss. Jayati. He excels all others in glory and qualities. So this particular verse describes Krishna in his Vrindavan feature, which is the objective of Nectar of Devotion, because the objective of Nectar of Devotion is Prema Bhakti. And if we want to love Krishna in Prema Bhakti, then that personality is Krishna in Vrindavan. Okay, not Krishna in Dwarka, not Krishna in Mathura, not Krishna in Kurukshetra. Yes, it's same Krishna, but if we love Krishna in Vrindavan, then we can actually love Krishna the same manner wherever Krishna goes. So objective is Krishna. Okay. So Akhila Rasa Amrita Sindhu, Akhila Rasa Amrita Murti. Sorry, Murti is like he's a person. So Krishna in Vrindavan is a reservoir of all rasas. Parasharamra Ruchi, by diffusion of his beauty, what is he doing in Vrindavan? Which form? Rudha Taraka Pali. Now I'm not going to go in the details. If you want, I can share all this with you later. But why is saying control the Gopi, Taraka and Palika? Taraka and Palika are the gopis who are associates of Chandravali, which are in the opposite group of Radharani. Like there's always a tug of war between Krishna's pastime that Krishna will go to Radharani or Krishna will go to Chandravali. So Taraka and Palika are always trying to pull Krishna towards Chandravali, take him away from Radharani. So controls the gopis. Kalita Shama Lalito. We accept Shamala and Lalita. So Shamala and Lalita are considered chief gopis of medium status as is equal because they are associates of Radharani. Okay, Radha Prayat, but he gives most pleasure to Radha. Why? Because Radha serves him the best by his excellent qualities. Vidur. So we're going to understand the meaning of the word Vidur. Okay, so it destroys all the 3 elements. It destroys all sins, which we'll understand that what does all sin destruction mean in chapter 2 of this book. Bestower of all bliss and very form of highest bliss. Jayati, he excels all others in glory and qualities. So Vidhu, who is Vidhu? Actually, literally it explained that Vidhu is a personality who is marked with Shivatsa symbol. What were we reading in Bhagavatam the other day? if you come for the morning classes, in the appearance of Ritsasura in 6th canto, when Krishna appears with his paraphernalia, which in the paraphernalia was explained that 16 other personalities appear, right, with Krishna. When Krishna appeared to give darshan to demigods in that chapter, because 16 other personalities appear, and it was explained that all of them just looked exactly like Krishna, exactly. But what was the difference? The difference was that Krishna had Kaustubha jewel and Srivatsa mark. So Vidu is like he who is marked by Srivatsa symbol. Vidu indicates general form of the Lord who makes successive appearance in the world. Don't have to understand, just hear it out. But specifically Krishna by following 4 reasons. So I'll not go over the details, but Vidu indicates Krishna in this particular verse. How do we say it indicates Krishna? Vidunoti. He defeats vidadhati. He produces. He defeats what? He defeats, it destroys all the sufferings. Kleshagni is one of the 6 qualities of your devotional service, right? And liberates even demons. He surpasses everything and everyone by his power. He produces, bestows all happiness, including prem. He is the original cause of or source of everything, Swayam Bhagwan. So that is why we know Vidu in this particular verse refers to Krishna. Now, Akhila Rasa Amrita Sindhu, form of supreme bliss. So when Krishna was present in a wrestling arena in Mathura, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that there were so many people watching Krishna fighting with the 2 wrestlers. Right? Now, each one of them saw Krishna with their own particular rasa. When we say Akhila Rasa Amrita, that's one place where it is explained that all the 12 rasas were exhibited in the same place, all 12. Otherwise, we see there is a subdivision. When Krishna is with his parents, then it's Vatsalya Ras. When Krishna is in Govardhan with his friends, it's Sakhya Ras. When Krishna is with the gopis and Radhani, is Madhurya Ras. Right? So like they're different. When Krishna is sitting under a tree, it's like Shanta Ras. Like that. But this was one place where Krishna was fighting with the wrestlers, and all 12 rasas were exhibited at the same places. That's where the acharyas take the example that Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. All the rasas are resting in this personality. It's so sweet. So it is explained in 10th canto, 43rd chapter, verse 17. Everybody saw Krishna according to their own prejudice, according to their own liking. Right? The wrestlers saw Krishna as lightning bolts, that Veera Rasa. Men of Mathura saw Krishna as best of males, Vishamaya Rasa. Women saw Cupid in person, Madhurya Ras. Cowherd boys saw Krishna as their relative, their friend, Hasya Ras, Sakhya Ras. Impious rulers saw Krishna as a chastiser, Rodra Ras. Parents saw Krishna as a child, so Vatsalya Ras, Karuna Ras. King of the Bhoja or Kansa saw him as death, Bhayanaka Ras. Unintelligent saw Krishna in universal form, so Bibhasta Ras. Yogis saw Krishna. What did I do? As absolute truth or Shantaras. And Vrishni saw him as worshipable deity Dasyaras. So if you count the rasas, I counted. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All the 12 rasas were exhibited in that wrestling arena. That makes Krishna as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Various groups of people in Kansa's wrestling arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother Balaram. Isn't it like that, that some people look at us as friends, some people look at us as enemies, some people look at us as relatives of different category? Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from is the question. We don't ask the question. We say, okay, this is normal. But our Acharya said, the question is, where is that coming from? It's coming from Krishna. How? Here. Okay, but then we'll establish that Madhurya Ras is the primary ras. So what we are doing here is we are establishing the objective of the book. Objective of the book is Krishna, but we are trying to understand who Krishna, which Krishna, because Krishna has many identities in different places. Krishna, and the objective is to actually fall in love with Krishna, which is prema bhakti. So to understand, so which form of Krishna is prema bhakti directed towards Krishna and Vrindavan? This is what is going on. Okay, so I'll go forward. Now, Chaitanya Vandan is the next thing where the Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is paying obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hriday Yasya Prernaya. By his inspiration within my heart. Pravartito Aham. I have undertaken this literary work. Varaka Rupo Api. Though I am a wild person by nature. Tasya Hare Padakamalam Vande Chaitanya Devasya. I offer my respects to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Chaitanya Dev. So this is out of humility that he's saying. And then there is Guru Vandana, that we pay obeisances to our spiritual master. Actually, it is explained further that Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti can be produced by many ways. Bhava Bhakti can be produced by practicing Sadhana Bhakti, but Bhava Bhakti can also be produced by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Himself or by the mercy of Guru. So there are two ways. In Bhava Bhakti, you follow the regulatory principles and then you get elevated to Bhava Bhakti, or you can just get Bhava Bhakti. As we get in the pastimes of, suddenly if somebody is touched by Krishna and they suddenly get empowered, like fall in love with Krishna all of a sudden. We have the son of Pratap Rudra that was sent, right? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hugged him and he just got mad. Just how does that happen? How did this happen? It's just touched. He was not, we don't study he's following Mangalarti and 16 rounds and 4 regulatory principles and devotional service associating with devotees. He just went. So that's one of the reasons. So Vaishnava Vandana, good. So Vaishnava Vandana is we are respecting the devotees, all the Vaishnavas. Which Vaishnavas? The Vaishnavas who are swimming in the blissful ocean. Bhakti Ras. It is explained that there are two kinds of beings in the aquatics, in the ocean. Surface level, which will also come later on, surface level fishes, and then there are deep sharks, deep in the ocean. So the surface level fishes, they get disturbed by the disturbances in the ocean. But the sharks, which are living deep in the ocean, don't get disturbed by what's going on the surface. And in fact, there is another life there, right? There's like eternal, there's this whole life going on over there. So similarly, the Vaishnavas are swimming in that blissful ocean. And they disregard the rivers. Liberation is considered to be a river because they're so happy in that ocean of bhakti. And they don't fear time. What does time bring? Destruction. Destruction means death. A real devotee does not fear time. We have Prabhupada. What was he doing when he was preparing to leave his body? Translating Krishna book. What was he doing when he was going around in his life? Preaching Krishna consciousness. Is there a difference? No. So, and then there is a Ashirvad or the benediction to the reader that may this work of Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu remain forever, destroying harsh arguments of Mimamska theory or proponents of karma and gyan, or logicians who unnecessarily meddle in the science of bhakti, just as ocean restricts Vadaba. Okay, now I can share this table, regular ocean, bhakti ocean, but I think we covered this. So, Grantha Vibhag is the last aspect of introduction, which I have already said. There are 4 divisions. Like in an ocean, in a map, there are 4 divisions, north, south, east, and west. So, and then each division has its own waves or lahari, and we are focusing on the eastern division, which has 4 laharis: Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. Uttama Bhakti Lakshanam. Uttama Bhakti Lakshanam is the bhakti to the Lord who have all good qualities of Devta. which is the next thing, Uttama Bhakti, which is very big in discussion. But are you tired? Any questions? Did you understand anything? Everything went post-lunch, people?
Mataji, we discussed the Eastern wave. So what is there in the other?
Eastern side, first wave.
Okay.
Eastern.
So just out of curiosity, what is there in the Western, Northern, and Southern wave?
Yes, I can show you the whole thing. It's there in your handbook too. Again, I was also curious to know what is there, what is there. It's still open. So you have to go over your handbook sometimes, okay? So it says Uttara Vibhag, or the northern division, is from chapter 45 to 51, which is Gana Bhakti Ras, indirect loving service. Everything is an expansion of Prema Bhakti after chapter 19. Okay, the details. So 20 to 34 is the southern wave or southern directions, Dakshina Vibhag, Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras, general symptoms of transcendental mellow. Then Paschima or eastern division is Mukhya Bhakti Ras, primary loving relationship, and then indirect loving relationship is the last part, which is northern Vibhag. This is what it is. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? Because I do want to go through this verse, and then we can take up chapter 1 and 2 tomorrow. I don't know we'll do 2, but we'll try. No questions, no reflections, no realizations, no contributions, no criticisms. Yes, Rupa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Somebody had shared slides of summary of each chapter. So I don't know which teacher. That was last year sometime, Mataji. I have. Will that like? I just want to
Like
share
what?
that.
Summary of it. These are the slides I had made, but then later on I had taken Amritananda Prabhu's slides, which I have to.
I don't know from where I got that, but I've not yet gone through that completely. But it's like condensed information. Like everything is there in one slide.
I think
Like,
this is what I had made. Like how? Like was it like the Krishna? Like
I can
something.
share it on the group, Mataji, if you know,
No, you shared with
I
me
can share
first.
it on the group
Like this,
sometime. Huh.
like this.
Mm, Mataji.
Like more like this.
Uh,
Okay, you can share with me and then we can look at it. Okay. Thank you. And then if
okay,
it is
okay.
relevant, then we will share it with everyone. So what have we studied so far? The introduction has 4 things going on. One is establishing Mangalacharan. In Mangalacharan, we are establishing the objective of bhakti, which is Krishna. Krishna, where in Vrindavan? Is Krishna is explained in that verse by Akhila Rasa Amrita Murti, and how he's interacting with Taraka and Gopila, Shamila, Lalita, Radha, and how he's a reservoir of all the rasas. Then we have the prayer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then we have the prayer to the Guru. Then we have the benediction prayer to all the Vaishnavas. Then we have the benediction for all the readers. Okay, this is the nutshell. Now, this is very important to understand this verse. And you have to memorize this verse. I hope you know this verse. What is the definition of Uttama Bhakti, or the highest level? Now, it is divided into 2 parts. The definition is divided into 2 parts: the primary characteristics and the secondary characteristics. The verse is written in the opposite manner, meaning that the secondary characteristics of pure bhakti are written first and primary characteristics are written later. So, anya abhilashita shunyam, jnana karma adi anavritam, then anukulena krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. All of you are supposed to know this verse by tomorrow. Anya abhilashita shunyam, jnana karma adi anavritam, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. Now the primary characteristic or sarupya or mukhya lakshan of this verse is Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. And the secondary characteristic is Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. So Anyabhilashita Shunyam means what? Free from material desire for sense gratification. It is not saying that you don't have any desire. It is saying Anya Abhilashita means any desire other than serving Krishna is material desire. Any desire. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. Anavritam means covered, is not covered by jnana, knowledge of philosophical speculation or fruitive acts, materialistic ritual of karma or other unfavorable acts. Then what anukula, primary characteristic or mukhya lakshan is anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. An activity intended to please Krishna or his expansion with favorable attitude, with continuous service or emotion. That is first class of pure devotional service. So, Sarupa Lakshana, primary lakshan of pure devotional services, that and what is it? That Anushilanam, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam, Bhakti Ruttama. Krishna Anushilanam. So Anu, Prabhupada explains, is like Anushilanam is a word which means like cultivation, Anushilanam, which means that there is an activity. So how? By following the predecessors. Anu basically means following. Following or cultivating an activity by following the footsteps of our predecessors. So we are not creating a new activity. We are cultivating the activity by following what is given to us. For example, chant 16 rounds. We did not create it. Did we create it? Or 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We did not even create that. We're following it. So that's one example. Okay, Shila Nam. So has two connotations. Pravarti Atma or active cultivation means involving body, mind, and words. And Nivritti Atmaka, which means inactive cultivation, which means by emotions of joy and sorrow in the mind. Everywhere everything is related to Krishna. And the negative aspect will be to avoid doing offenses to deity and Krishna's name. So Anushilanam or continuous service has two forms, Cheshta Roop and Bhava Roop. Cheshta Roop means which is using like literally with body, mind and word. Bhava Roop is emotional. What kind of emotions are described? Affection and despair, both. Can you imagine? In despair also we are cultivating bhakti. How? The example, very famous example, I think I've used it before, is that Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kans. They were also Krishna conscious. Right? They're always thinking of Krishna. Kans couldn't even sleep because he was thinking of Krishna so much. We fall asleep so easily in the night, right? Because he poor fellow, he couldn't even sleep because Krishna was all over his existence. But would you call that Krishna consciousness as pure devotional service? Or on the other, or we say Hiranyakashipu, Narsimha Dev picked him up, put him in his lap, ripped his body, and took his intestines out, drank his blood, decorated himself, garlanded himself with the intestine. Basically, we can say that poor Hiranyakashipu, he gave up his body for the service of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. But is this pure devotional service? He gave up his body, no? He gave up his body for the pleasure of Narsimha Dev. So is this pure devotional service?
No.
So, but on the other hand, this Damodar month, we see Mother Yashoda is angry at Krishna. If you read Shri Damodar Janani, emotions that she exhibits, she gets really surprised. How did Krishna do it? She's such a young boy. And she gets angry that he disrupted her service. And then she's running. And when she's running behind him, she looks at this rod or danda or stick, which Nand Maharaj had forgotten to take with him when he went to the village that morning of his brother. He forgot to take that stick. He was just lying against the pillar in the veranda and was decorated with the whole rod is expensive. And the rod also got scared that my God, now Mother Yashoda will come and pick me up. So because everything is alive in Krishna consciousness, and Mother Yashoda is approaching, and the rod is like, oh my God, are you going to use me to beat Krishna up? I'm supposed to serve, but what can I do? I have to give up. I have to do what Mother Yashoda wants me to do. So she runs. Is that pure devotional service? You go to temple with a rod in your hand. Here, Krishna, I've come to beat you up. Is that pure devotional service?
Krishna is enjoying Vatsalya Rasa, so yes.
Krishna is enjoying Veer Ras there, Ghasli Ras over there also. Krishna is Rasa, Akila Samdrasin. Krishna is never without any ras. He's always enjoying. So, so is that pure devotional service? Yes, at least tell from your heart. If you don't know the
Yes.
reason why, don't try to be a logician. At least tell yes or no.
Yes, Mataji. Pure devotional service.
Now the acharyas ask how come. You see, so that's what it is that anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavritam what is it? Anukulena anushilanam. Anukulena. Anukul. Matlab Anukul means an intention to please Krishna. Krishna is crying, huh? We worship Damodar every day in Damodar month. He's crying. He's like shaking. He crying heavily. He can't catch his breath. His necklace is shaking on his neck. His earrings are like, oh my God, he's so scared. He is scared. He's not pretending. He is. He's playing it very well. But it is it is a pure devotional service because the intention is to please Krishna. The intention. So it's not that so much about the external activity, but the intention. So Krishna Anushilana means service to either Krishna or the expansion like Narsimha or person related to Krishna like Guru. So Krishna, the angas of bhakti, such as taking shelter of Guru's lotus feet, may be included in bhakti, even in Bhava Rupa Anushilanam, which we'll discuss later. Krishna conscious activities are directly under the control of Lord's internal potency. Prabhupada writes this. Okay, directly. By the mercy of a bona fide Guru, Vaishnava's fortunate person gets the bhakti, and all his endeavors are spiritualized. All of them are spiritualized. You're cooking for Krishna. You're going for grocery shopping for Krishna. You are cleaning your own house for Krishna. You're conversing so that everybody can become Krishna conscious. Body, words, and mind. Body, mind, and words as Cheshta Rupa. Now, Anukul is favorable attitude devoid of hostility. This is important. Okay, bhakti, definition of bhakti cannot be established with a disagreeable or unfavorable pratikul attitude or behavior. So the intention matters. Krishna is called Bhavagrahi Janardana, right? Bhavagrahi extracts the intention. The very internal guy, huh? Our God is very internal. He extracts the bhava. Not so much about what we are doing externally. We have a pastime of Vidur's wife and Duryodhan, right? When Duryodhana is a diplomat, politician. He invited Krishna and said, Krishna, I'm throwing a party in your favor and you're the chief guest. So you come, have fun, relax, have a good time, have nice food. There'll be entertainers. We'll have conversations. So he is basically arranging the whole Bhandara for Krishna. We can see that externally, right? Basically arranging the whole program and inviting Krishna. Krishna doesn't say yes, he doesn't say no. I love that about him. He doesn't say yes, doesn't say no. Like that. But does he go? He doesn't even tell Duryodhan to not to do all these preparations because it will be a waste in his effort. Because nothing done for Krishna is waste anyway. So when the day comes, he doesn't go. Where does he go? Does he tell Duryodhan? Does he send a message to him? No. Where does he go? He goes to Vidur's house. And Vidur's wife opens the door, he's not there, and then she gets like amazed that she wasn't expecting Krishna. Krishna is there. Now she's always thinking of Krishna, but suddenly she opens. Imagine you open your door and Krishna is standing, like Krishna is there. So she goes in ecstasy and she doesn't know what to do now, what to do. Somehow she makes him sit somewhere in the house. She starts to offer something to Krishna because she's in ecstasy. Her eyes are locked on Krishna. Krishna is loving it, by the way. Huh? He's loving it that her eyes are locked on him. So somehow she grabs bananas and somehow she peels the bananas, but she gives him the skin and eats and throws the banana away. Krishna is eating it. He eats the banana peel, eats, eats, eats. So he explained that what is he eating? What is he eating? Intention, bhakti. So Krishna is so filled and hungry for the love. If God is hungry, we explain God by Atmaram, is all the desires are always satisfied, but we are saying he is hungry. Hungry for what? Our love. Can we give it to him? Yes, but we need training because we have been contaminated. Okay, so nectar devotion is going to train us. So the intention matters. Anushilanam. Okay, our service alone may not include favorable attitude in all cases. Action directed to Krishna, even with full concentration, may not always be performed with favorable intention. So, what anukul is necessary. So, this is like the example I gave that he attacked the demons with Veera Ras, but Krishna became angry when Mother Yashoda left him to take the milk of the fire. But that the demons perform better bhakti than Yashoda because Krishna is having fun fighting with them, but here he's angry. No, but Yashoda had a favorable attitude, but demons had a hostility towards Krishna. Okay, so Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. Both attitude and action pleasing to Krishna. Devotional service done with intention to please Krishna. Then Tathastha or secondary characteristics. I know we are over time, but what to do, what to do. So, Anya Bilashita Shunyam, which free from material desire. What does it mean? It means that there is no other ulterior or material motive behind going to Krishna. Go to Krishna because you love Krishna. Not because, okay, give me job, make me cure of this disease. I'm not saying that we don't go to Krishna. That's not pure devotional service. Just understand, go to Krishna because Krishna is saying akama sarva kama va moksha kama dharati tivrena bhakti yogena yajate ma purusham. What is the last thing? I always forget either the third line or fourth line. Yajate, help me, anyabhilashita shunya. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaridhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Krishna help me. None of you help me. Bored, tired, too much speaking, one person talking. What's happening? No feedback coming. When we'll be done with these classes, you're gonna miss it. So, bhakti must be, so no other desire. That's pure devotional service. But even if we don't have your devotional service, don't put yourself in a guilt because you'll get there. Just know, because it's good to know, where we have to get, we might not be there. So, devotee who remembers Krishna and induces others to remember Krishna develops the aesthetic symptoms. Right? And the aim of sadhana bhakti and bhava bhakti is to go to prema bhakti. Abhilasha means desire, right? And abhilashita means material desires which are deep rooted as one's nature. I'm not going to go into detail. I can share all this, but just understand that any other desire other than a desire to please Krishna is not pure devotional service. And that is anyabhilashita shunyam. Then the next verdict is jnana karma adi anavritam, which means what? That is not covered. Covered with what? Jnana or philosophical speculation, karma, fruitive activities, or so on. What does it mean? Jnana. okay, we have Uddhav, right? I've been hearing about him for the last few days somehow. So Uddhav, now Uddhav was a disciple of Brahaspati, right? So Brahaspati uses like, and he is told by his Krishna's cousin. Krishna. Uddhav is the only personality that we hear who has a free flow from Mathura to Dwarka to Vrindavan. Generally, people living in Mathura don't talk about Vrindavan, and people living devotees in Vrindavan don't talk about Mathura and Dwarka like that. But Uddhav can flow between, so it's so dear to Krishna. He's a disciple of Brahaspati, and he is told by Krishna to go and read his letter to the gopis in Vrindavan. So Uddhav is going to do that, but Uddhav is explained that, okay, he's going to go and talk to gopis, but as he's going, he's thinking that, what am I going to talk to these girls? Huh? They're cowherd girls, they milk the cows. And Uddhav is like a triple PhD guy. Like, for example, it's like a PhD person is asked to uh, talk to a kindergartner about something. So how would they feel? So he's thinking, okay, I'm gonna go read this letter. I'll spend maybe a few hours, half a day, and then I'll come back to Mathura. So Uddhav is sent to Vrindavan. Uddhav, the whole description what happens there, but he somehow meets the gopis, and he tells the gopis that Krishna has sent this letter and I must read it to you. So this is like Gyan. He is in the bhakti of Krishna because on the verdict of his knowledge about Krishna. This is who Krishna is, and that's what is motivating him to get into that bhakti. So Gyan, that's why I'm explaining this example here, because it's relevant, not covered by philosophical speculation. So when he starts to read the letter to Krishna, first of all, the gopis get very angry that why he has sent the letter, why he didn't come by himself, why he couldn't come himself, why letter. And then he's trying to, before he reads the letter, he's trying to pacify the gopis by saying Gyan, like Yo mam pashyati sarvam samay pashyati. Whoever sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost to that person and he's never lost to me. Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad Gita, okay? He's saying it. So Uddhav is trying to pacify these gopis because they are filled with tears. It is said that the plants of Vrindavan would have died when Krishna left, but the only reason they didn't die is because of the torrents of tears from the eyes of gopis. They were surviving. And gopis are like, what are you talking about? And Yomam Pashyati Sarvam Somai Pashyati. What are you talking about? Our problem is not that we cannot see Krishna everywhere. Our problem is that we cannot not see him everywhere. We cannot see anything else other than, actually Brahma did a mistake in the creation that he created the eyelids, so we have to blink for a moment and then we can't see Krishna. That's the problem. So his gyan is on one side and this bhakti is on another side. There's so many conversations, sweet conversations like that. Now remember, he came only for half a day, where he stayed there for 6 months. Next day he's milking the cows. so, so the jnana not covered by philosophical speculation. He understood why Krishna sent him there, okay? But okay, I have knowledge, but pure devotional service is even beyond that, okay? Karma. So we have different kind of duties through the course of the life. Daily duty, periodic duty. What is it we call? There's a book called highly effective people, 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay, I was reading that book one time in my life and it's a very nice book. Some people say it is based on Bhagavad Gita, but I don't know. um, and the person writer was explaining how do you actually divide your day so that you work efficiently. And one of the ways he was explaining was that you can explain the responsibilities you have in the course of the day into different sections like urgent, emergent, non-urgent, routine. So it's like this is, yeah, maybe this is also in the Shastras, that daily and periodic duties enjoyed in the Smritis. For example, ritual. ठीक है, Like for example, Shraddha ceremony. Now, person not in pure devotional service will perform Shraddha ceremony out of fear of sin. Right? If I don't do it, then I will be cursed by my ancestors. There's a fear of sin. But a pure devotee will also do Shraddha ceremony. We hear Advaita Acharya doing it. We hear Yudhishthira Maharaj doing it. But they're not doing it out of fear. They're doing it out of devotion to Krishna. Krishna enjoins this. Krishna enjoins this, so we do it. So that not covered by jnana, not covered by karma. These are some of the examples. Adi means etc. or so on. Means what? Vairagya or renunciation, yoga, sankhya, this is analysis, these are all obstructions to Uttama Bhakti, one must avoid them. Anavritam, not covered. Okay, so this is what is the definition. Now, what is the corollary between this Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam Anukulina Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktiruttama? From the correlation is given by Narad Pancharatrika Bhakti, which is Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Bhakti Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Or Srimad Bhagavatam Ahetukiya Pratihata. What is the corollary, which we'll discuss tomorrow? But at least digest this much today. Questions? So we studied in introduction, we finished the introduction by description of the pure devotional service by the verse Anyabhilashita Shunyam, which is a primary or bija verse. Based on that, other verses and other scriptures are described or we can connect them. What are the primary characteristics, what are the secondary characteristics, and what is the meaning of each and every word. I gave a glimpse of it. Any questions? You have to give me reflection, so I will